Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. One of the Israeli journalists that I put a great deal of stock in is Caroline Glick. Whatever subject she covers it with great integrity, and she's usually just spot on. I want to read just a portion of an article that she wrote last week concerning an incident that took place last week. In testimony last week before the House Committee in charge of State Department funding, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, acknowledged that the Obama administration intends to abandon the U.S.'s 50-year policy of supporting Israel at the United Nations. After 50 years, the United States is going to abandon its support of Israel in the United Nations. After going through the tired motions of pledging support to Israel, quote, when it matters, Power refused to rule out the possibility that the U.S. would support anti-Israel resolutions in the UN Security Council to limit Israeli sovereignty and control to the lands within the 1949 armistice lines that are absolutely indefensible. Such a move would be taken, she indicated, in order to midwife, that is, help along, to midwife the establishment of a terrorist-supporting Palestinian state whose supposedly moderate leadership does not recognize Israel's right to exist, calls daily for its destruction, and uses the UN to delegitimize the Jewish state. In other words, Caroline Glick says, the Obama administration intends to pin Israel into indefensible borders while establishing a state committed to its destruction. I would suggest to you that is a betrayal of the First Order. We have had anti-Israel presidents in the past who've taken anti-Israel actions, but we have never had a vicious and malicious president as President Obama is toward Israel today. There is an aggressive, visceral hostility toward Israel on the part of this president. And in making these statements and taking this action, establishing this kind of a policy, he has placed himself in a position to receive the curse of God. In Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, God says in his covenant with Abraham, he says, I will bless you. I'm going to bless you and your descendants. You'll be a blessing to the nations. And he says, I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you, I will curse. Now God has spoken, and he's not stuttered. And he has declared that those who bless Israel, bless the Jewish people, will indeed be blessed. Those who curse them will indeed be cursed. And the president and his administration and his representative here in the UN, Samantha Power, have placed themselves in a position to receive the curse of God because of this vicious action that they have taken toward Israel. It's a betrayal of the First Order. Now, as Christians, believers, we're encouraged to pray for our leadership. And we must do that. Here's how I'm praying for President Obama and his administration. I'm praying the prayer that Hosea prayed against his prostitute wife. It's in Hosea chapter 3. And I pray for Obama that the Lord Yahweh will block her path, block his path in this case, block his path with thorn bushes, with painful hindrances and obstacles, that he will wall him in so that he cannot find his way, that there would be nothing but confusion within the camp. That's my prayer. But in the meantime, I'm also declaring what the prophet Zechariah, what God says through the prophet Zechariah, in Zechariah chapter 3 and verse 2. Yigar Yahweh b'cha Satan. Yahweh rebuke you, Satan. Yahweh, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Until next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivareka Yahweh. Yahweh bless you. Yahweh bless yours.